Well, well. I guess you can say this. Do not ever threaten somebody's family, threaten their character ever in the National Hockey League because you will get repercussions. And I'm going to talk about what that means coming up here on Locked On Blues.
You're Locked On Blues, your daily podcast on the St. Louis Blues. Part of the Locked On Podcast Network. Your team every day.
And welcome back to Locked On Blues. I am your host of Locked On Blues, Haley Taylor Simon, talking to you all things about our St. Louis Blues, our boys in blue. A part of the Locked On Podcast Network, your team every day. On today's episode, I know I have a little bit of some titles that are a little bit different, but I'm going to talk about something with Kevin Hayes and something that transpired tonight. I was there, and I'm going to talk about it. I'm going to talk about that. We had the worst power play in the NHL. That sucks. Do we have any All-Stars besides Thomas and the Rangers game? Before I dive deeper into today's episode, I want to let you know that today's episode is brought to you by FanDuel. Make every moment more. Right now, new customers get $150 in bonus bets guaranteed when you place a $5 bet. Visit FanDuel.com/lockedon to get started. So I'm going to address the elephant in the room, and that is everything that's gone on with Kevin Hayes. For those that don't know, I'm a Blues fan. I just live out in Philadelphia. So therefore, a part of my other job that I do, I am heavily involved with the Flyers. Okay, whatever. You can say what you want. I'm still a Blues fan at the end of the day. Let's go Blues. They play Monday. I want the Blues to win. So after the game, head coach of the Flyers, John Tortorella, basically stopped the press conference. There's videos online, but during the presser, and I know that some of the videos are a little bit edited, so you don't see everything that happened. He was just answering some questions about the game that went on tonight. And he then said, who is the person that started the rumors about Kevin Hayes? He looked at all of us reporters to see if any of us was the guy that did it. Obviously, I'm not a guy, so it was quickly eliminated. And then he had a little bit of a back and forth with the guy, and he went on to say some things. I'm going to read you the quotes that he said. I don't do cuss words, so in all my tweets, I made sure to, my camera. I have a new camera system, by the way. I made sure to not put any of the cuss words in it. So if you look at my tweets and you don't want any cuss words, do that. If you want to watch the video, has some cuss words in it. So this is basically the highlights of what he said. Are you kidding me? You think Kevin Hayes is going to do something like that? And context, he's referring to Cutter Gauthier not wanting to be with Philadelphia. It's my cat just hit it. Stella, stop it. I'm podcasting. It's blank. And it blanks me off that you guys throw that blank around and it affects someone's life. Okay, I'm so sorry. My cat literally, Stella, stop hitting into my podcasting. If you guys are watching this right now, my cat Stella is playing with my camera. Okay, so then Tortorella went on to say, what you said is going to stay with him. Don't say you have the right to sources I call blank. Is that the podcast, the silly podcast you do? So, whoa, that was a lot. There was a lot of tension in that room. I'm going to say that. Obviously, I am in these rooms. This is my third season with that team, doing some stuff. I have never experienced tension like that. Good for him. Kevin Hayes is a good guy. Yes, he's not having the best season right now, but he is a good guy. And I was actually talking to my dad on the way home, and I said, it's interesting. After Kevin Hayes' brother passed away, he hasn't been playing the same. And I am so blessed to have been able to have interacted with Kevin Hayes when he was here in Philadelphia where I lived to talk to him. And then when he went out to St. Louis, I was happy because I'm a big Hayes person. Kevin does a lot of good stuff. When he was here in Philadelphia, he it was called Hayes' Hometown Heroes, where he would have out different first responders, veterans, all these different people. Hayes did a lot of good stuff in the community. And I think that us here in St. Louis, what makes us a special hockey community is our kindness, it's our acceptance, and it's our grace. And that is something some other places don't have as much. I have never seen anything like it with people threatening somebody, threatening their family, being so cruel on social media. And of course, it impacts Kevin Hayes and it probably impacts his game. How could you, think straight after you're getting all these death threats and it's impacting not only you, but your family? Kevin and his brother were very close, and his brother was an awesome guy, right? And whenever Kevin scores, if you don't know this about Kevin Hayes, whenever he scores, he points up because he wants to honor his brother. And I think that's really special. So I wanted to address that because Hayes this season, I know he hasn't been playing the best. And I know that it's easy to say, oh, he sucks, he's not good. But at the end of the day, he's still a person. And this week, he was in the midst of all this drama that he should never have been a part of. He didn't ask to be involved in this. He didn't want any of this. And a 10-second clip went viral of somebody making something up about him. The GM of the Flyers denied it. Kevin Hayes called the GM of the Philadelphia Flyers and said this isn't true. The president of hockey operations of the Flyers says, hey, that's not true. So Kevin Hayes, who is now in the St. Louis Blues, is contacting his former team because of drama, because of rumors that were not true about him, to clear his name because he's getting death threats. You can say, Haley, this isn't that big of a deal, but it is a big deal because this is our guy. He's here with us on the Blues. He's here in St. Louis. He's wearing the blue note. He's not focused on the past. He's focused on the future. And why would he care? Let's be honest here. Why would he care if another team that he used to play on prospect wants to play there or not? That he doesn't care about that. And he doesn't. Kevin's focus is on St. Louis. He's committed to being here on the Blues. He's committed to the future. He doesn't care about the Flyers like that. And I don't get that twisted out of words, okay? I'm just saying that his focus was never on the Flyers this week. His focus was always on the Blues this week. And yesterday, he didn't look the best in the game against the Panthers. And if you were going to say anything like, oh, he sucks, think about how that impacts somebody. Okay? Think about how that impacts his play. So that's why I'm not going to criticize Kevin Hayes' play, because I saw some of you on social media, and it wasn't a whole bunch, but I did see some tweets that were kind of like, oh, Hayes sucks. I don't know if I would be able to have my best performance if I was dealing with all this on the outside. And if you're going to say, oh, well, that's what comes of being an athlete, he didn't do anything. That's the bottom line. He didn't do a single thing. So if you're going to take that and you're going to spin it and you're going to say, oh, well, how do we know it's not true? All these people could be covering up. John Tortorella said it best today. Hey, in terms of hockey, we didn't see eye to eye. But as a person, he's a good person. The quote's there. He said it. And focus on me. And being in the room of Tortorella, well, I got this really high definition camera, and sometimes it just doesn't like to focus. Focus. Sorry, you're going to have to deal with a little bit of a blurry Haley situation. Well, I'm so sorry. This podcast. Cat, can I get my camera? Camera not wanting to go. Focus. At least it's focusing. But yes, essentially what I am getting at here is that Kevin Hayes, good guy. Camera is kind of annoying me. Like really annoying me. Oh my goodness. But I thought that it's interesting. Why isn't this focusing on me? But doing a blues podcast, right? I'm just gonna keep on talking and hopefully the camera just gets resolved. Doing a blues podcast, obviously being out here in Philadelphia, I have access to different things in a sense that when the Blues come, I can always go to like Long Island to see them play. Like, I'm able to see them a lot. It's not that I'm not going to be able to. I'm going to the draft to see them. There is a lot of crossover right now between these two teams. And tonight, I was able to hear firsthand how awesome of a person Kevin Hayes was. Yesterday, at my other job, I was able to hear through higher ups of the Flyers of how good of a person Kevin Hayes is. So I think that as a fan base, I know that he hasn't been playing the best this season. Let's give him a break. Okay. Okay. I went on a bit of a rant, but it was needed. Trust me. I will get to your comments. Let me know what you thought about last night's game because I do have some thoughts for you. But first, and if you have any other questions about this, again, let me know. But first, I'm going to let you know about FanDuel. The NFL regular season is wrapping up, but there's still time to get in on the action with FanDuel, America's #1 sports book. Right now, new customers get 150 in bonus bets guaranteed when you place a $5 bet. That's $150 in bonus bets, win or lose. The app is so easy to use, and there's so many different ways to bet, like live same game parlays. You can find bets in the new Explore tab, make a parlay in the Parlay Hub, the best way to find popular parlays, and more. So visit fanduel.com/locked on and make your first bet a layup. FanDuel, official partner of the NFL. So last night's game sucked. Oh no. Last night was a good competitive game. I see a lot of comments right now. I'm live on YouTube saying, let's go Blues. And before I move on, somebody said, good on Tortorella to say that. It's sad that, and that was by Rob Blondie Girl 2021 says, it's sad to see rumors get out and people just assume that they don't look at the fine print. I feel awful for Kevin Hayes, and he should have never gone through that 100%. So thank you to everybody that's been watching this podcast. Obviously, I wanted to record tonight because I knew something might have happened. And I just wanted to be able to address it on Locked On Blues since this is impacting my player of my team that I'm a fan of. So that kind of sucks. You know what else kind of sucks? Um, it's our power play. Our power play is not good. And it's a problem. So we were in 31st for a little while. And now the Blues are in dead last. You might be saying, Haley, what team's above the Blues in the power play? Well, that's the Flyers. So they just did a little bit of a rotation, but we play them on Monday. So we shall see. We are about, if you want to do percentage wise of how much we convert on the power play or percentage, yeah, it's 10.62. Last night against the Panthers, we were 0-4 on the power play, which was absolutely brutal. Florida did capitalize off of it. There's once, but the thing with our power play is that we just don't get anything generating, and that hurts us in the end. I mean, we could have had so many opportunities. I mean, I know that we got the first goal. Braden Shen scored that first goal as I was live on the podcast watching. But when you think about it at the end of the day, if the power play becomes successful, then you could have conversation of, oh, could the Blues get a wild card spot? But the problem is that, well, I'm going to be honest with you. I don't know if that's going to happen now, unless there's a major change to the power play, which is why I'm going to propose something to you. Do not call me crazy. Just call me realistic. If the Blues don't fix their power play, then maybe, just maybe, they won't make it into the playoffs. We'll get a really good draft pick, and then we'll be really good next season. I mean, Snuggie might be playing a couple games with us at the end of the season, probably like April, May, that area. So I'm getting ready for him. But I just don't understand how the power play unit is this bad, and I don't know what else they need to change, maybe than just adding different talent. It's just been a more of a defensive/neutral zone type of power play. They're not in the offensive zone or anything. Um, it just sucks, but it is what it is, right? So last night, I'm just gonna give you a little bit of a game recap in case you didn't watch and you want to know why I'm so frustrated. So Shenny scores a couple minutes into the game, assisted by Jake Neighbors and Braden Sod. Yeah. That was the only goal of the game, by the way, for the Blues. In the first period, the Panthers score, equalizing the game 1-1. So listen, the Blues went into that second period, I'm going to be honest with you, with an opportunity to regain the lead, but they didn't. And it was actually a pretty good battle between the two teams, yeah, but the Panthers ended up scoring, giving them now on their power play, giving them a 2-1 lead. In the third period, it was Matthew Tkachuk. Yes, Keith Tkachuk was in attendance. So I think this one killed me, and I'm just devastated to say this, as he is a St. Louis native. He grew up a Blues fan. His father was a Blues legend. He got a hat trick. Matthew Tkachuk got his 6th career hat trick at Enterprise, and the Panthers won 5-1. Yeah, not good. Panthers now have won 8 in a row, so obviously their team is a little bit hot. But yeah, how ironic is that? And there was rumors at one point that Tkachuk would not. I'm gonna have to say Matthew because I know there's Brady. I know there's the whole Tkachuk, and it's funny because Matthew Tkachuk and Kevin Hayes are cousins, believe it or not. The Hayes and Tkachuk family are related, so everyone's connected. But I really wanted Matthew Tkachuk to be a blue, and I just was like, "Oh my gosh, of course he's not." And then he does that, so that was a little bit annoying. Yay! I love that we have a really bad power play, and I love the fact that Matthew Tkachuk got a hat trick. No, I was absolutely gutted. It was awful. I still watched. Okay. Moving on. Do we have any all-stars besides Robert Thomas? And the reason why I bring this up, and I'm going to kind of talk about this more coming up in a minute, I can't think of any. So if you have anybody that you think should be in the All-Star game besides Robert Thomas, let me know in the comments now. I'm going to give you my opinion. But first, before I get more into that, I want to let you know about Jase Medical, okay? I know we come to sports to escape from some of the crazy realities of real life. But can we just talk for a minute about preparing for real life? According to the FDA, pharmacies are running out of antibiotics like oxymilin right in the middle of the worst flu season in over a decade. This is scary. I can't imagine a more helpless feeling than if my mom, my dad, my brother, anybody really, my friends got sick while a supply chain issue kept them from getting the life saving medication they needed. Thankfully, we'll be okay because of Jase Medical. The Jase Cakes is a pack of 5 different antibiotics to treat a long list of bacterial illnesses, including UTIs, respiratory infections, skin infections, among others that could happen to any of us. Visit jasemedical.com and complete your physician encounter. It will be reviewed by an on-board certified physician, and your medications will be dispensed by a licensed pharmacy at fraction of the regular cost. It's never been more important to be prepared than it is today. So go to jasemedical.com and use offer code locked on to get $20 off your order. Okay. Let's talk some all-stars, baby. So Robert Thomas, obviously RT season forever and always, is the Blues' all-star. And I see a couple of the comments, and some of you have read my mind. So as a joke, I was tweeting for Tory Krug to be an all-star. And the reason why I said that is because I feel like Tory Krug, and it's not like a joke. I just feel like he's had a really rough year between all the rumors this summer. And I know that his playing style doesn't make him an all-star. It was just more like this. I feel like we need to show some love to some of the guys that maybe don't get enough love, okay? Jordan Kyrou got a lot of love from the fans with the standing ovation and them cheering for him and, showing support after all that drama. But Tory Krug, I feel like never kind of got any of that. And people are still hard on him. So I think that maybe if he goes to the All-Star game, maybe people will see his skill set more. He will be open to potentially being a part of a trade. I don't know. I'm just saying. But I would say Tory Krug. But realistically, I thought, yeah. So at one point, I did think Jake Neighbors, and that's what Rob said, and that's what Blondie Girl thought. I thought Jake Neighbors at one point, but he hasn't been scoring much. I know he didn't assist last night, but I don't know. He was scoring consecutively for games on games. Lately, I haven't seen that. I think he still needs more time, but he could have been somebody that if he kept up. I like Bennington, and the problem why I don't think he'll be going to the All-Star game is genuinely just because of the rough season. I mean, I don't want to say it's been like rough and bad, and I know it's not always his fault, yeah, but I just don't see him being voted through. It's hard. Like you look at this, the roster, you look at the players on the ice. I mean, Colton Parayko maybe, uh, but I don't see. I just Here's the thing, fans vote people in. I just don't see any of us as a fan base really rooting for one of our guys to get in. I think that if anybody else got in that wasn't Robert Thomas, we would be all over social media and we would be like, voting Robert Thomas, Robert Thomas, Robert Thomas. But because he did get in, there's not anybody off the top of my head that I can think of that deserves to be there. I think it'd be cool to have multiple guys there. I just don't think it's going to be happening. But let me know. Maybe I'm the only one that kind of is like, "Oh, I don't think so." But you're like, "You know what? I can justify why this person should be it." And we can talk about that. And it doesn't have to just be the All-Star game. It can just be a player that you think is having a good season that isn't being talked about enough. Like, for instance, I'm going to say Joel Hofer has surprised me. Okay. Obviously, he's the backup goalie, but he still surprised me. So that is something that is a positive and good. So, anyways, the St. Louis Blues are back in action tomorrow night as they're taking on the New York Rangers. Oh, this is not going to be a good one. Oh my gosh. Nope. Nope, nope, nope. So the Rangers right now are leading that Metropolitan Division with 54 points, while our Blues have 41 points, and we're in sixth in the Central. So not good. I think that the Rangers are going to expose some of the Blues' weaknesses, especially that power play. I mean, it's already exposed as it can be. I just hope our power play doesn't get into single digits and things like that. I don't know. It's one of those things where I want the Blues to do well. They could surprise us. I mean, they did beat, the Canucks and the Canes, and who knows? I mean, you lose to the Panthers. I don't even this as I said, this team is so unpredictable. But I can say this is that they are doing better. And, I'm happy that Darkness brought that up. I said this was gonna be the toughest slate of games that the Blues were gonna have this season, and yet they have beat some teams that I did not think they would be winning against. So it's one of those things where I'm just happy that, as you said, surviving, but they need to work on that power play. And I'm interested to see if reporters like Jeremy Rutherford are going to show maybe some videos of them at practice working on the power play unit. I follow them, great sources for beat reporting, and hopefully they work on that because that should be their priority right now. PK's fine, goals are going to go in. Other teams have good power plays, but until you get, a better power play unit, I don't really necessarily see this team winning some of these games that are going to be a little bit more competitive in the long run. Zach says, Happy Wednesday. Happy Wednesday to you, Zach. Yeah, the Blues do better at home than they do on the road, but I feel like that's a lot of teams in the NHL right now, except maybe the LA Kings. For some reason, it's so strange. All right. I will talk to you tomorrow. This was a late night, but because I had to talk about what happened with Kevin Hayes' former coach and what he had to say about him. If you missed that, you can watch the beginning of this video when I'm done being on live. I'm going to podcast this like always. And tomorrow will be a little game preview. And let's go have more of that discussion on guys that have impressed us this season that maybe aren't being talked about enough. Like usual, how I end every single episode. Let's go. Come on, Sally, you say it. Blues. Let's go, Blues.